For one, at the end of Icebox, all the glory. The other will be gutted to have come so far and go away empty-handed. Texture takes a little bit of space over towards A, but that knife indicating, I think, that it's going to be a bit of fake pressure.
Yeah.
SENtinels have already stacked 4 players over towards A, ready for GenG's classic flash, dizzy, engage. But they're not going in that direction, and I think Sen are just starting to realize before TenZ takes contact.
Wondering where they might be. Thoughts creeping into their heads, wondering, oh, is mid exposed? Got to try and watch those angles. TenZ gets off the angle.
Munchkin's trying to sell it. It's only him here.
Yeah, it is just this lone player lurking up. Still Sen choose to stack the bodies towards it. In fact, they full board it.
Munchkin was thinking for a moment of calling his team back. You saw GenG doubling back towards mid just for a second, and now they've started walking their way into B. You're right, Sen, they bought this hook, line, and sinker.
Now realizing the errors of their ways, Dizzy lays the groundwork now to try and take towards this B site. Man with the plant down, but it's an open angle here. It wasn't actually smoked off. It's not available for them. Still fights ready to be taken here. SENtinels trying to get fast onto the approach and hot on their heels. The kill onto Lakia, it evens it out to 4-4, but you got to think the advantage now to GenG.
Sassy's going to have Dizzy back online, I think. Was he able to pick that one back up? Surely.
Late lurks, Elsis seeming like he might be aware of it. Drifting back and forth. What a shot straight to the cranium. Sassy defusing is already on half. Sassy defusing, Wingman, hello, already on the half, but it might have just brought them that critical, crucial lifeline. Munchkin from the side. The attack from second is that uncertainty, but he's defended in time by John QT. You absolute beauty.
What a way for Sen to get back in. And that's after missing the read in the round. They were forced to play retake. They got a nice little spam kill to open things up. The pick onto Lakia is huge. But the defense of Wingman, and then the defense again, as John held it down, huge.
Yeah.
This map, we're going to see whether the difference between experience and lacking it makes the difference between a trophy or not. So many players on Sen that have been in positions like this before. Some new players as well, like John, who's been calling a lights-out game and playing one too.
Exactly right. I mean, there's a chance of history on both sides. Of course, GenG looking for that trophy lift for Pacific for themselves as well as one of the most successful iterations of a Korean roster we've ever seen. Here. Forwards now into the angle. Elsis retreating and away with the turret is covering that angle there with Munchkin caught out into the open. Still a plan down for GenG. Can't be too much more behind this. They are dropping and toppling.
Very diligent play by SENtinels, making sure that they deal with the lurk, but not
diligent.
Not clearing the corner.
Speak of the devil, man. Texture makes a good go of it.
I don't see how Karen wins this though in a 1v3.
Now with the fragment nade, force them out.
Not possible.
The open to drop.
So a little bit of damage done, but not too bad. Double Bulldog and a Guardian saved into the next. And you're right, Brent. While there's history on the line for GenG, Pacific, they've never won a trophy before. GenG could not be closer. It's only PaperX in that final against FPX at Copenhagen, who were in a similar position to this, map 5, and it slipped away from them. But not only are they on the precipice of making history, but when you look at the two people at the top of the scoreboard here early on for SENtinels, Sassy and TenZ both wanting to get into that, as the Des said, very exclusive club. Double trophy lifters. And Sen as an org would only be the second org ever to have 2 trophies.
Wouldn't that be something?
The first and the last, or at least the most recent. I hope we don't stop doing them anytime soon.
I certainly hope not.
Sen looking aggressive at the start of this round, going forwards with 3 players over towards A, and GenG get funneled into a B hit. I think Sen look very confident and comfortable in playing the B retakes. They seem set up for it. And also, you've got to be aware that GenG at some point could try to flash Dizzy combo into Snowman.
Yeah.
That's another thing that Sen might be ready for.
Dizzy's exchanging the handshake there in the air. The shots are fired off here, but the plan's still down now for GenG. Into the post plant. Again, that weaponry isn't good, but util is. Look at that. It's a coordinated effort. An absolutely filthy spray transfer. As Lakia Texture with the final blow. put an end to any of that funny business.
Does not matter how good your utility is if you're not able to get the kill onto Lakia as he sprays down 4. I mean, so many players that he was fighting there just didn't really seem to have their guns out ready to take a duel, not anticipating that somebody would have gone in front of all of that util. That's spectacular. He gets his ult online. That can really start some momentum going. Huge play from Lakia. Sorry.
The big stage, seen the big scene before, even way back in the day.
I was just going to say, Brent, by the numbers, this would be disaster for Sen, if you care about them. 0-6 on Icebox Sentinels since May 2022.
God.
I mean, different roster at that point, basically, right? But essentially just not a map that they've ever had success on. Does it matter in a big moment like this, though? I would say it doesn't really. There's so much more to it.
The emotional aspect, playing to each other's forms, cooking up plays on the fly. If you can stop this one here from GenG, and they do with the knife. It's a good one. Thrash. He stopped and stunted, and the full group up again from Sentinels, looking like they are really ready to fight this one. Tooth and nail seems to be the call. Everybody through now with the Thrash, setting it up from Sassy. It hasn't been dealt with here still. Wingman forwards, Entertainment not online, and they are really trying to flood in and through, but GenG on the high ground positions, on high, tying to topple them over! Celsius, the difference maker! Right when his team needed it, 2 versus 2, and guess what? Spike, drop down, top nest.
Wingman delivered that one like a juicy little delivery.
Speaking of delivery, Sassy out wide, but Celsius again. It would have to be the ace, and it's shut down in its tracks.
Great try from Celsius there, but just not quite enough to overcome the player disadvantage. Sen have a clear game plan of how they want to defend against this. They're not getting caught by the flash combos at the beginning of the round, but they use their own utility to get back in, doing a retake before Wingman can even get started, making sure to break that as well so the spike's lost in enemy territory. But GenG got too many picks as Sen were trying to flood. That round win for GenG has knocked the economy of Sen. Celsius one away from the lockdown too. Certainly something to fight with if they can get picks early.
Doesn't expect the angle though. Meteor be close to the corner, swinging out, only gets the body shot, so 100 damage done, and already Texture gained all that ground, scaled rapidly on the approach. Looking to pick apart this Sentinels players that are left standing.
And this top 4-10 position is one where GenG were able to get value in the previous round.
It's broken. Just creeping right into it.
Yeah, and by the way, throughout all of this, Caron has just walked up B into Snowman and is calling for his team, listen, you don't need to take the risk of going into A. Yeah, you're favored, but why even bother with it? Let's go B, let's make sure that Munchkin gets his ult online for the next round and keep this snowball going.
Play it safe. We've got players in forwards, advanced positions. I mean, if there's any pushing out of position here by Sentinels, look, it's going to be captured by Lakia. If not Lakia, then Texture.
It looks like a great game plan for GenG here. Not just applying crazy pressure over towards A,
there it is,
but also being able to get the lurk in on B. The GenG A hit is so powerful. And really, this flash dizzy lineup that they use with Munchkin on top of pipes and then Lakia following it in afterwards, it's crazy hard to deal with. And that means that Sentinels are starting to stack A to deal with it more and cheat over towards the A side. And Karen's found within the first 5 rounds that opening on B as a reaction.
Chomping at the bit for the chance.
Already thinking ahead about how to stop Sentinels' counter-strat.
More importantly here for GenG, with these recurring wins, rounds online, they have big ults to try and punish and keep that snowball going. Now the knife wasn't broken, so Zekken tagged up here. Players have to watch the belt position, at least on that high ground approach. Wall up in his face. There is some danger here. Up close, it's all about the reactions, but again, they could come from any direction. No command, it's a jiggle. Almost anticipating and expecting it to be that level of aggression. But still tense. He's in that top position with the operator still into half clearance, and punishment in place.
Beautiful adaptation from Sen, deciding to take the fight to GenG. They know that the classic GenG exec starts from pipes control. And so TenZ is already up there, using Zekken as a distraction, essentially. Everyone's going to be focused on the operator, shutting them down, trying to punish them. And they just end up running into TenZ's waiting arms. Munchkin, the IGL, going to take a moment to see if he can win this round. Does he have an opening still? This isn't going to be a full save where he uses it as a timeout. He does still have chances here.
I mean, the money's stacked.
30 seconds.
Make a go of it.
Spotted, plant, now 1v3.
Sounds into this one here, but it's Munchkin who he needs to seek out the weaknesses, really. Will SEN give him any? Doubled up, shoulder to shoulders, an updraft peak here from Zekken, so he's just clearing all the potential possible spots, but there is that blind spot, there is that blind spot. Munchkin eventually cleaned up, but knowing this team, I'm a believer in almost any scenario.
Now that Munchkin's had his go at winning the 1v3, he'll have to start thinking about what went wrong in terms of the macro of that round. Did they need to put more B pressure in order to pull players away from A? Was it that they need to be applying a little bit more utility to clearing out pipes before they go for the exec? These kind of things are going to be racking through his brain as the score's at 3-3.
Really good job. Really good positions.
Zelsis clearly happy with that one. And SEN don't start this round with a stack over towards A. I think already anticipating a change up from GenG. Just not one coming.
GenG happy to opt into that brawl. Knuckle fighting. Done by the knife, slowing it down for about a moment. Now waiting for it. Right time to strike. Big ultimates for them to use to try and get themselves into this. In fact, it's on the other side of things. Do they have anything to deal with Zelsis? Just lockdown, contacting, walking right now. Finally, the mollies being used to try and take that backside control texture. Oh,
lineups,
here it comes. Spotted lineups.
Oh, missed!
Against the wall here. Moshpit has to be committed. Will it break? Yeah,
no, because it needs the fragment as well.
So the additional util just doesn't add up. It was all missed in time. TenZ forwards here. There is entertainment. Fragment nade, does he expect it? No, he does not. Meteor again taking matters into his own hands, and he's slipped himself up into that forward position, but finally dealt with. Shut down. Lakia cannot withstand it. This pressure is just immense.
SENtinels with a successful retake. And part of that has got to be down to the fact that Munchkin missed the nade. Every team at this point has a setup to try to counter that lockdown. We're talking the best teams in the world. Of course they have setups for that. But it got missed somehow, the fumble from GenG. I don't know what piece of architecture that hit onto.
I won't claim to know as well, but
it's just on a door frame by the look of it. Devastation.
Pioneers of differences. The SENtinels to take the lead here in map 5. Grand finals on the line.
Get out of my way.
Meteor Karen creeping closer to those ults, and Lakia already has his. It's going to be difficult for Zekken, I think, to really get a peek if they decide to invest the Thrash.
Oh my god, the knife, no way! He just disrespects it, and Zekken is out of there on top of the ropes. He does not want to be hunted down and away, but there's entertainment. Where's the help? Dash through, TenZ is there! Finally, support arriving, but Lakia cleaning up that pesky player close towards yellow.
But Sassik's done enough, just by staying in an open area where the rest of his team could cover him.
Spotted in the window.
Yeah, by the turret. Yeah. Great turret position there. Utilizing the new window that got carved out of Tube.
Real read here for SENtinels. Again, have to maintain these advantages when they are handed to you, and if you lose that fight into mid, suddenly 3 versus 3. The peak of things here. Out, open, timing against him. Second, he loses his fight, and just like that, it's turned.
Absolutely brutal for SEN. Great punishment on these peaks by GenG.
Reaction test here for Zelsis. He doesn't even need it. Blind as a bat, but he still sprays him down, but he can't follow through with the second kill. 1 versus 2. Knife out on QT, not anticipating it. That pace and tempo injected into the round by GenG at just the right moments.
I love it too, because while you're talking about the post-plant aggression, the pause in the round baited out these little plays. I mean, Zekken didn't know exactly where to put his crosshair. And TenZ going for a peek under Tube. opens the win up for GenG. That's got to be frustrating for the Sen coaches. What a gift for GenG.
Even as anything. No imbalances here when it comes to the rounds. Our fight taken straight to them here. Opting into the scrap. Zekken, there's no way you dash into that angle and he's punished.
Wow, what a flash from Munchkin. Just bleached the eyeballs of Zekken, and Ten's looking to try to take the fight.
You said the dizzy didn't get broken in time. No way!
What a wall bang!
Right through the wall. Ten's still not going to be removed from this spot. He just sees it, head poking over, but now has to respect it. Players all around him. Sassy, your turn to strike back if you can. While the iron is hot, and hot it is! They drop him! No entry into the site. Stand your ground, say your piece. The Vibe Merchant on his feet.
GenG cannot crack this A defense. I've not seen any team put up as good as a defensive setup against this as Sen have. Multiple layers to it, right? There's Zekken going aggressive at the beginning, drawing attention, Ten's up on pipes, and then crossfire setups on the site. And yes, Sen are overstacking A, but they're doing it at the right times. They're actually getting the read on when GenG are executing. GenG need to throw a few fakes of their own into it. That's something we've been talking about SENtinels attack side the whole time. They need to try to pull people towards A and use that B lurk timing that Karen found in round 5.
Still anyone's game though.
Oh, absolutely. It's not like Sen have figured it out and that's them with the trophy in hand.
Yeah.
Putting up a great fight on a bad map for them.
Here it is, target-rich environment. The wall obscuring, hiding. The intent of GenG, but out wide, that's Munchkin. No kill to be claimed, but Zekken, let's give it up anyway. Now, the pixel angle, holding forward. It's going to be that high-low, and the peak with the dizzy on top of things, running and gunning forward. Zekken, drop down, 1 kill found, but already the pit is down and out, covered at the site.
Munchkin's weak. Is he going to try to knock himself to get the full res? Oh, they go for the lockdown as well.
Lockdown play. Using it to clear them all the way back here, so SENtinels won't be able to withstand their ground here, but there is that gap out towards the back here. It seems like there's some hesitation. How do they want to try and fight towards this one? It looks like now the plan being committed. Still with that pit here with the ults all the way through now. Thrash to set it up, and it has cleared the way through. No! Timing! Timing! Caron! An absolute menace! And a 1v2. Sassy! So much to do. Mosh rebounds, pit still alive and active, but it finally fades, and look at it. It's hectic, it's frantic, he's looking this way and that way. Wingman out! Can't collect the kill!
You can see the nerves at play here, just by taking a look at normally a calm and very experienced player. What is this as well? That's everything. Karen being able to dodge that thrash is everything in this round. It's a beautiful idea. Sassy and Tens play it superbly. Karen making the play to dodge it, keep the pit up. 5-5, GenG. They came into that round with 2 people with only sheriffs.
Yeah, I mean, the money wasn't good. See 3 rifles to play with. Undeterred now by that one. Fast play, fast approach. Over towards A. Sen stacking it with players.
No, this time playing it for retake again with Zelsys lockdown. I mean, they must realize, though, that they got kind of lucky with Munchkin missing the fragment grenade before. Look how good the flash dizzy is.
Yeah, just can't break it, can't withstand it. Here comes a lockdown, though. It's fast by Sen.
Is there anything to break it?
Pushing back right into the flank. Sassy! 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 He's caught in the open. Didn't withstand it with his gun out.
He thought GenG were going to fight the lockdown, but the lockdown came too early. GenG weren't in position for the lineups. Zelsys in mid.
Catching Meteor, crucial to the round. Success. Orb in his face, blooms and blossoms fading away. Here's the footsteps, here's the running gun. Zelsys! Awareness off the charts. Pit dropped down 2. But dodging that one with entertainment. The thrash not getting anything. And the decay damage, there it is. Putting in work with Zelsys leading that charge still.
The spike, it went down. Wingman able to plant it in the midst of all of this. But this pit, it's not a post-plant play. It's for Sen to go for the retake.
They got all that space, still have to clear through this one. Caron has a snake bite, at least one with the tap. And now they're flooding through onto the side. That left hand flash! Magnificent! Munchkin to deliver. And he's got to stand and do it now. The tap, forcing out the bullets, no more. Left in the chamber.
What an incredible beginning. could be set at an absolutely tied first half on a map where, by all accounts, GenG should be hugely favored. But I don't feel like I'm seeing the nerves hit the GenG players. It doesn't feel like a collapse from them.
No, it feels like Sen stepping up.
It definitely does. The adaptations they've made and the awareness of how GenG want to play Icebox, loving the way that they're defending. The pit there from John Cutie was immaculate. Celsius awareness too. And the flash out from TenZ just all working really nicely together.
Sen players rallied, reinvigorated. Deep Knife gives him peace of mind there, so TenZ can earn himself up to his ult. Wasn't pushed back and a full group up by GenG.
They're aware that sometimes the SENtinels players have pushed on defense. Remember, they caught Sassy pushing out of B in the previous round after they'd applied their pressure on A.
Wait too long, the knife might be back online for TenZ to just throw it from Boiler.
TenZ has his ult to be able to work with too, so the closer they get, the less they can really rely on the Viper wall to do anything for them. Do they have an idea of where TenZ is? He's set up for another knife lineup. Here comes the knife again. Might get bad info though here, actually.
Orba.
Catches.
Back over to A.
Yeah, that knife caught onto Munchkin. But then TenZ is still rotating off.
It's really orchestrated. I mean, they just know. When he orbs up like that, they only catch one onto the knife. Yes, they could cut noise, but second, holding from the top rafter position here. Plenty of angles to adjust and choose from, but they are walking right into the one that matters most. Dash online, backs away, Sassy, close now. In their faces, willing to take the fight straight to them with only 25 seconds left. It's the final round of the first half. And an important one at that, Wingman broken. That's the confirmation. GenG have to follow through with the weaponry and the guns, and they're finding their own place, but it's only down to one. Texture, Soul Survivor breaks it down. Munchkin late to the party, and jumping around, the nerves at play.
SENtinels can feel it. They've got the lead at the half on a map they weren't favored on. They were banking on a 3-1 finish to this series, but 3-2 would do the job. Heartbreak on the horizon perhaps for GenG as they were looking at the first trophy for Pacific and now have such an uphill battle to be able to make that a reality. What a finals we have here.
Absolutely insane stuff. Send it down to the desk. They want to break it all down, I can tell.
The electricity in this room is unreal as everyone is on their feet and honestly just blown away by what we've been seeing in this game, guys. Not just are we getting great ideas from GenG, but we're getting even better ideas from SENtinels on a map, as Brendan Sideshow were noting, Hypoc, that they were just not favored in.
Yeah, and I think SENtinels achieved the primary objective, shutting down the main win condition, which is this A-site execute. Josh was talking about it. After that, though, the adaptation from SENtinels is perfect. They read the game to perfection, start stacking towards B, baiting GenG into their stronger setup.
For 8 of these players, they've never been in a grand finals of an international event of this level before. For 2 of them, they're rookies in their first ever appearance at an international. You can see the nerves, even in the veterans. The shots from Sashi shaky at times, but what matters is how you convert in the end. That was a half of hero plays, of moments towards the end to come back, but SENtinels is up. But at this halftime, this is the last chance really for the coaches, for the teams to talk together, to come up with that final plan to lift that trophy in front of them.
This is it.
I mean, you've seen some of the cracks start to show on the side of GenG. I mean, Josh even referenced this as well. The pressure getting to them, some questionable decisions, couple of misplays here and there. Is this where it all comes apart?
Pacific has been in the finals before. They've never lifted a trophy. GenG want to make this comeback happen, but SENtinels, you can see it in their eyes. They're standing up on the stage. They can feel that trophy. They are ready for it.
This is it, folks. The next time you'll hear our voices, we've crowned a Masters champion. But hey, you know, this matchup feels quite global in itself. Let's go ahead and send it back over to Brendan Sideshow to send this bad boy home.
The tension is palpable, energy building in the arena. You can see it, we can feel it. History will be made right here on this half of Icebox.
GenG won every single pistol the last time that these two teams played in the upper bracket final. and walked away with a comfortable win on 2 out of 3 of the maps. They need this one.
Open face by Caron, almost with the punishment. Tagged down by the turret, just seeking to at least destroy it and remove some of that mid-round information.
That's not the only piece of aggression in mid. Texture, Lakia, still trying to get posted up there, making sure that Sen don't play in that area.
Jump spot from Tentia, but he's out wide now with the face in top of the Dizzy. They have to give up their space here, but GenG might seek to try and fight this one. Wingman is already in the fray, through the back of the side here, broken down, lands out in the open, but behind the box, second finds his mark. Precision in the name of the game, but GenG not willing to give up even a scrap of territory. No map control, and no game really thought of GenG. Texture, oh my goodness! 2, but eventually brought down. 3 versus 3, and the spike's still not retrievable.
It's a spike position.
30 seconds left.
They keep getting tucked behind this box over and over. Caron, though, he took so much damage earlier on, they could just spam him out.
20 seconds roughly in the round. It all comes down to this for Sen, and a pistol round. 1 to stand, 1, 2, fall! SENtinels are feeling it!
Zelsis on his feet again. And Sen in the driving seat, despite having that map veto disadvantage because they had to come through the lowers. Sassy on that stage for the 3rd time knows that it can be done. He, every time he'd made it to a grand finals before, went through the upper bracket, but he didn't always win.
He knows it's doable. Energy just is truly, truly palpable for GenG. Shy investment. Utility, maybe a Sheriff of Meteor to get something done, but this is SENtinels, in all likelihood, wrapped up to that 9th round.
Depending on whether or not they go into the stack, I really feel like you can't count out GenG even when they only have pistols and Meteor, who hasn't really been hitting this map, the only one with the Sheriff. If TenZ goes down and they pick up the Stinger, maybe something can snowball off the back of it. Sen are playing this so cautiously. They do not want to give an inch to GenG.
Caution can spell defeat sometimes. Knife, no info, it's caused to rotate.
That's an amazing timing for Sen to start to hit A. TenZ has read this one perfectly.
Just like that. We talk about it, the tiniest of differences, affecting so much.
Where you going, mate? Where
are you going? Stinger from that range.
All right.
TenZ getting away with all sorts of murder. It's a massacre in front of the back of the site, but he gives up his life in the end.
I can't believe he took that decision, but I think that shows you the confidence on play. Sen setting up for the aggressive post plants. GenG's composition can be very potent when you allow them to get into retake scenarios, and Sen are clearly planning to play forwards even when this turns into rifle rounds. You can see the kind of angles that they're taking. GenG are going to struggle to get back into sights if they allow Sen to walk in like that. Yes, it was a gamble. Yes, they needed to try to make the play. But what a beautiful read from TenZ there. Saw the knife whistle past him and realized an opening could be his. A 4-round lead for SENtinels.
GenG, unfamiliar position that they're in here in this grand finals on this big stage. Now we've got to do the most. They've got to try and steal their hearts, calm down the nerves, get some form of collection together. Because the map is running away from you, and not just the map, it's the series. It's your chance of etching your place into history.
Texture has gone for a glass cannon operator this round on the anti-bonus. Triple stack over towards A. The knife catching Sassy over there. And Texture already starting to come off that aggressive B long line.
This op has to pay off. It just has to. Taking a gander. Walking back over to the angle now behind yellow box. Lots of angles to really choose from too.
He can't expose himself to Zeken's position. At any point here, he could be getting walked up on. That's why you see him just going for the check.
And he just doesn't know. He just does not know.
You are open to being timinged here. He's taking a risk.
Risks are necessary in this particular position. All up. Everybody crossing. Texture can feel it now, and he's going to be tagged up by the knife. Has to respect this now and back away. No, he's just out in the open. No man's land. Flash, though, eventually respecting it and backs behind the wall. GenG trying to be fast. Now with this rotate, plan denied. Shut down here with only 33 seconds left now. Cavalry has arrived.
30 seconds.
All 5 players here. Just 25 seconds left. How are they getting back in?
That's the question, isn't it? Waiting for that regen util, but again, there's only 20 seconds remaining. Got to get a move on, and it needs to be now for Sen. What is the game plan? Wall up, just about.
They've got to push forwards.
Push forwards, and that's why Tennis is there. Underhanded, flash through, takes it. The fight straight to Intermedia on top of bridge. GenG, though, surely the guns prevail. It's 1 versus 2. There is that value. Rifle upgrade. Celsius here. Is it even planted for it? I'm not even sure. Tucked to the corner here. They know where he is. Wingman sets its sight onto it. Lakia half on the defuse and even more. No kills to be claimed. No kills to be collected. GenG narrowly avoiding it, but they need to keep these guns.
That is so rough, losing the op in that situation. Knew that they had the round secured, and they still couldn't keep that supremely important weapon online. Nerves in these big moments certainly hit Sen. Yes, it wasn't the most successful round in the world, but that was their bonus. They were coming into it with Stingers, Spectres. And they've hurt the economy in the sense that GenG coming into this one with double Guardians and no Operator. That is huge. They know they don't need to deal with that in the next round.
Familiar scenes here. Seen that one before. The deep knife gives him that chance for Munchkin to try and build up that ult, but here it is, fast and loose. It's a call made here by SENtinels. Looking to disrupt. No command. There's no abilities here, so Sasha can be able to get that plan down. So again, into the post-plan situation we go. GenG going to be tested now on their retakes.
GenG are looking for the lurker, coming around throughout mid. There isn't one.
Yeah, just trying to clear it out.
Sassy can play so far back and just work off his thrash. Does Munchkin have some kind of knife to be able to deny this?
Mosh pit, flash, through and out second. How the hell is he alive there? Thrash now finally being used, but it's offloaded. All the mollies as well. Thrash broken. Media, wide texture. Trying to claim another one here, being dropped down to 10 HP. 10, surely he falls, surely they go down. Half, out, Munchkin. Has he bought enough time? He's got too many targets to deal with. Too much indeed.
Small smile on the face of Celsius, throwing in the wide swing, knowing that the aim is going to be at its shakiest in this, the latest hour. Sen creep ever closer. It was a tough one. They had to hold off all sorts. The swing that came through here, or in the previous, to be able to deny the wingman, I thought could have been punished. But GenG just didn't have it in them. They've been stuck, paralyzed at 6. As Sen creep up and up. 3 rounds away now. Within touching distance, they can see the trophy in front of them. What they've been working for since October. Honestly, all throughout last year as well. The turmoil of their roster, of trying to figure out an identity. And since adding John, his first time on the big stage like this as well, doesn't appear to be a rookie.
He's been delivering in every twist and turn of this tale that is the Grand Finals, this best of 5. It's just a ludicrous scenario that we stare ourselves at. SENtinels holding this lead on a map that they haven't won since May 2022.
No. And GenG have looked fabulous here. They wrote the book on how to use this Gecko KO composition that SENtinels ended up taking for themselves.
Yeah.
And now to see Sen outplaying them, this is what we were talking about earlier, Brent. It's not always the game plan or who's won in the past. When it gets to big, high-pressure moments like this, it's can you deliver?
Do you have the determination in you? Timeout that was taken for GenG here. They have to pick themselves up. We've seen comebacks on Icebox before, on the biggest stages of the world. But it takes a special kind of team to be able to pull that one off.
Oh.
And Molly misses the Nano Swarm.
But going off the sound cue there, the turret still gets retracted.
Yeah, pulled back.
GenG do not have the weaponry to hold on against this. The knife collecting onto 2, at least, possibly even 3 there, indicating that it would be an A execute. Meteor gets pulled over to reinforce Munchkin. And then goes back as Munchkin comes. There is no noise. The read hits working really nicely against GenG, and the way that Munchkin likes to make hard reads.
Only one tag there with a knife. That is going to be the go button. Pressed here by Sen. Not just that, but they're pressing the advantage, scaling deep into the back of the site. They're giving an edge to them. Second is tucked deep, and there's going to be that supportive util. Look at that. Ten's already holding for it. First signs of life from GenG. A flash, and Molly is going to go flying. There it is. Dizzy. Needs to be broken. Not quite. Just sailed right over, but a bit of miscommunication out here. Texture. The knife's at play. The knife's at work. It's going to try and slice and dice to victory. GenG finding that footwork, and the ground gained and granted to them. 2 versus 2. A weapon. At least with the upgrade, Meteor. He's going to be holding this one. He's going to be defusing this one, but already the wall fades and topples away. Half needs to be earned, and he does get it, but time against him entirely.
Celsius again is there to make sure the safe pair of hands. Another player who was there at the very beginning. And he's 18-8, making sure to be the backbone of this team. Emotional leader for SENtinels, thriving under the pressure, making sure that every one of these tight moments is closed out. GenG, they must pick this timing to respond if they want any chance of forging their place in history.
It has to happen now. Pressure against them. Either crumble or makes diamonds. Texture misses the adjustment. Can't quite hit the snap to the side, and now pushed away from the angle. In fact, even activates the dash, anticipating like it could be a follow-through, but it's not. But he's getting out of there.
He's getting good information here, Bren. The fact that Texture popped the dash and got back on the angle is telling GenG to keep 3 players A. And they have Lakia on pipes too. This is looking like the way that Sen wanted to defend.
Here's Ekin! Matters into his own hands, leading the charge with a dash. It just collides right into the collision of 410. There needs to be the adjustment. It's not there! An inevitability. Texture in a 1v3.
He's got to try to hold on to the last shreds of hope in his heart. But it must be feeling heavy. He knows that this is Sen, likely to get up to 12.
Look at the triangle they formed as well, crossfire setups. It would have to be the play of his career, and he knows it's not possible. In the movement, in his posture.
You see that he's just forced to take the smart play and back off. But this has got to be devastating. The silence in the GenG camp as they allow Texture to play the clutch, settle in like fog. Memories flashing back. Where did it go wrong in the series? We were favored on split, weren't we? Icebox, surely we had the advantage. How are we in this position? 6 rounds in a row that GenG would need to take, and Celsius, he's on his feet. The round was still going on, and he's already celebrating.
Orchestrating the crowd.
HSK head in hands.
And this is it, the precipice. The line that's been drawn, and SENtinels willing to cross it. And this will be them as an org, as players, as individuals, etching themselves in the history books. But one last hurrah for GenG. Has to put a stop to it now. Thrash clears through, that's entertainment! Takes a drops down, and he's fallen prey to it. Hunted down. Up to Lakia. He's called for the reinforcements, but this is it. It's a brutal scenario. They're picked to pieces. Thread unraveled. SENtinels can feel it.
The ult even forced out a Meteor here to try to keep the Horde back. But they're in a 3v5. There's nobody on A. Where's the win condition? It just looks like Sen are going to have a free ticket to A. Second's going to make a play down mid, and it gets cancelled. Why would you even bother taking the risk?
Play it together. Thrash, second round. To clear their way through. It's Munchkin standing his ground. Knife just a little bit too late here. They can feel it now. Pressure mounting. GenG stacking, but they will topple. They will fall. The rifles are too good. 1,000 days and counting. SENtinels maintaining their relevancy.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
The last time they were at an international event, last time they earned any sort of accolades. And Caron, from rank to rookie to tier 1 play, left to stew. Pacific's hopes and dreams laid on his shoulders. GenG's hopes and dreams laid on his shoulders. But how much can one man do? First one found, second one not there. It's over. Sen City, here to play, here to stay. And history has been made.
SENtinels organization leapt to stardom, became a household name because of the win that they got in that first ever Masters event. They have struggled, they've been clowned on, last year was devastated, but this group of players has done it. They put SENtinels back on top. The best team in the world to open 2024. And I can't believe it happened like that. 5 maps, Pacific's hopes dashed.
Hopes and dreams, and that's what they'll remain. But for SENtinels, proud of how far they've come here. GenG will take a bow. It's a curtain-close finish. Not how they hoped, not how they liked. It was supposed to go differently for them, but they just couldn't pull it over the finish line.
They've still made history. They've still made history, but that trophy is not for them. Congratulations to your Masters Madrid Champions, SENtinels! An unbelievable run, a historic run, a team that went from rags to riches right here in Madrid, Spain. They controlled their own destiny, and now they can finally say they are champions. An unreal sight here as every single member of the SENtinels hoist that trophy over their head. A long and difficult path for each and every one of those guys on that stage. What a run.
A journey that stretches over 1,000 days. SENtinels are finally back on top, solidify their start to this year as world champions. Madrid will forever be known as the second coming of SENtinels.
They did it the hardest way possible. They played every match in the offseason, grinded since October. Every possible game in Americas. They went the long road here in Madrid and all 5 maps in the finals. After over 3 years, SENtinels joins the very few to have 2 international trophies in VALORANT.
An unreal run from an unreal team. Guys who joined in a unified vision to bring a trophy to the fans of Sen City, to the organization that has stood by this game from the very beginning. And for them to do it in the way that they have done it, taking the hard road, Mimi, this right here is something that, oh boy, it's a special moment for sure.
And you see Tenz on that stage. He's been there since the beginning, since that first trophy lift. Went through 3 years of turmoil, of grinding it out in North America. Unable to make another run happen. But now he has that trophy.
Cannot believe how they managed to put this one together. But also, I do want to say real quick, commiserations for GenG on one hell of a tournament as well. They played hard, they played this team as tough as they could. Pacific's got a lot to be proud of. But on this day, SENtinels got the better of them. But I will say this much, I don't think that this is going to be the end of us seeing this rivalry between SENtinels and GenG, because I want more.
We're bound to get it. You see Zekin lift the trophy just days after his 19th birthday.
Crazy. Actually crazy. To even put that in and having, I'll go ahead and say it now, solidifying MVP status here in Madrid. Just an individual performance for the history books.
This kid has been waiting for his opportunity, and he finally had the right team around him to make it happen. Saucy as well. Champions 2022, the last time this man felt a trophy on a completely different team. With 4 new members around him, he's made it happen again.
He took that risk after winning a world championship with Loud, decided that he wanted to bet on himself, go and join the SENtinels, come to the Americas region, not alongside his Brazilian brothers, but instead joining a lineup that was mixed at the beginning, that was struggling, and now for him to be right here, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
And for Zelsis, the man's more than just a salesman. He's the guy who kept him in it. You saw him on that last map, standing up, shouting at every moment. His teammates have said he's the reason they play for. He reminds them what they're after. This is it. They don't need a reminder anymore.
Yeah, his contribution in and out of the game today has been so visible the whole way through, regardless of when the wins came for GenG, regardless of when the wins came for SENtinels. He's been on his feet. He's been elevating his team today.
Of course, it was a back and forth affair between both of these teams, and it really couldn't have gone any other way. When you think about the great finals that we've had already in the history of this game, the short history of this game, whether it's Fnatic versus Loud, e.g. PaperX last year, some great matches across the board. This one, most definitely a special one, as it just goes to show me how the game has just continuously evolved.
And I'm just so impressed in SENtinels staying in this series. The final map not favored to them whatsoever, but they played their damn hearts out and earned that trophy. John QT, his first international event as an IGL, regaining with with Kaplan, the coach who he played with, what, 2 years ago now, back in Tier 2, failing then, but reuniting and lifting a trophy together here in Madrid.
And I'll be honest with you, never the easy road for SENtinels, but bouncing back on Split, righting their wrongs from previous series, and then closing out on Icebox, it's just the best way to crown them.
It's the fact that they did it on Icebox. I saw Anna, I saw Leo and John need them all in the back, and I was like, guys, I think statistically speaking, it's going to look really good here for GenG, but instead it is the SENtinels who rise to the occasion and are your Masters champion. For now, let's go ahead and hear from your champs.